In this video we want to talk about partnership agreements. Now, partnership agreements occur between management and trade union associations. So here we're talking about employee relationships, we're talking about industrial relationships as the term was in the past. We're talking about how trade unions and management get agreements between them that effectively carries the organisation into the future, and also gives more stability to the workforce, more confidence in the organisation. It's a partnership agreement. The term suggests that they are working as partners. Now, these are legally binding. They have been agreed by both parties and focus on achieving a shared interest. So the trade unions and the management agree to a certain arrangement, a certain procedure perhaps, or a certain set of rules. They agree, and it's in their mutual interest to adhere to the agreement and to promote the agreement. Both parties win. The aim of partnership agreement is for management and trade unions to work together and to acknowledge common ground. At the very base, both have a vested interest in the continuation of the company. It's the company that pays the wages and salaries. And as individuals, that's what we need to enable us to function in society and to survive. So they have a vested interest. They have an agreement about the basics. They're there to try and ensure that the organisation continues. So partnership agreements are between trade unions and management, and they acknowledge the common ground they've got, and then they go from there to try and bring in specific arrangements, perhaps operational arrangements, which they then form into the partnership agreement. Partnership agreements aim to establish a cooperative working environment where there is a mutual understanding between employees, unions and representatives and management. In other words, everyone involved in employee relationship, everyone involved within the organisation will have an interest in the partnership agreement. And it's working cooperatively, working together to try and achieve some end. It could be to improve productivity, or to cut costs, or to improve the quality of the product or the reputation of the business. It can be on the basis of many different issues, but the partnership agreement, it's cooperative. They are agreeing to work together. The agreement is aimed at employee welfare and organisation performance. The focus is on achieving a win-win situation for both parties. So the trade unions on the one side win, they benefit from the partnership agreement, but so also does the management. So both of them win. It's a win-win situation. Cooperation is better than fighting and arguing and disruption and disputes, and so cooperation is seen as the way forward so that both parties will benefit. Management, for example, may offer job security in return for more flexibility from the employees. So management gets something, more flexibility, and the workers get job security. It's a win-win. Both parties benefit from the partnership agreement. The trade union benefits, the trade union members, they have job security, let's say in this case, and the management, they get flexibility in terms of how to organise production, how to move resources around, and perhaps even on the hours of work. So partnership agreement is only effective if both parties show respect and trust. They have to recognise that they are both going to benefit, but they must respect and trust each other, and they must recognise that the other party to the agreement must get something out of it. It's not a question of being clever and outmaneuvering the other party, because in the long run that will show up and will be destructive. It's showing respect and trust on each side of the agreement. They both have a common interest in the future of the organisation. Both parties want the company to continue. The trade union wants its members to have jobs, to be employed into the future. And the management want to compete with the other companies making similar products and to sell better products in the market and build a reputation of the business and of course build the profitability of the business. The business came about in the first place because the original person who set up the business wanted to make a profit. It may be, of course, and it depends on what literature you read, maybe the person set up the business out of a sense of challenge or set it up because they wanted to help mankind. But the more classical view is that person set up the business to make a profit. I'm not saying it's right and I'm not saying it's wrong, but I'm just saying it depends on the literature on the theory of the firm as to what the motivation was. But certainly there is a common interest between the two, and that must be recognized if the partnership agreement is going to be effective. There should be transparency and exchange of information. They should be honest and open with each other about what's involved. They shouldn't hide facts and hide situations. It will show up in the future, and it'll be destructive when it does. It'll create bad feelings. There'll be anger on sides and disputes and accusations. It's far better at the inception, right at the start of the agreement, to declare openly what's the position is, and have a voluntary and fair and open exchange of information. For the agreement to be effective, both parties should implement facilities for everyone to take part in the decision making. So it should involve a wide spectrum of the organisation. There should be consultation on the agreement. This is what the management will work with, and this is what the employees will work with. And there should be consultation. It's not just a question of the trade union and the senior management locking themselves up in an office and negotiating almost secretively. This involves the people who work for the company, the managers, the middle managers, the line managers. It also involves the operators, the employees, the drivers, the cleaners. It involves all of the various stakeholders on the labour side, and they should be consulted, and they should be kept informed of what is being proposed. Partnership agreements are gaining increasing attention as the strategy has proven to be successful in limiting industrial action and conflict. This idea of cooperation moves the whole scene, the employee relations scene, away from confrontation and towards cooperation, which is more productive. It yields a better result for the employees and for the management. The changing economic conditions and the emergence of the service sector has brought to the attention the need to engage employee attitudes and commitments. There's also wide-scale understanding on the part of management that employees are a valuable source of information, of feedback related to the product, also feedback related to production and distribution, and they're coming up with ideas for design, and perhaps they're like an army of researchers. They perhaps go online and they check products and they go shopping, and they can feed this back to the company. So they are a valuable source, not just as people who do jobs in a physical sense, make things perhaps, but they also can be involved in all the aspects of design, product development, innovation, testing. Their comments can be valuable, and because they, as consumers, they can give fair and accurate comments about pricing, about distribution, and so on. Partnership agreement involves relationships between employees and management in increasing productivity. The workers will be more productive if they're involved. They'll be more motivated. There'll be less absenteeism. There'll be greater focus on the job and perhaps a greater understanding of the need for quality, and the quality policies of the organisation can be more easily implemented. The partnership agreement is one that benefits the organisation, but as I said earlier, it also benefits the employee. They have not just job security, but perhaps their views regarding the working environment could be fed in terms of the quality of the air, or the amount of noise in the factory, or the whatever the conditions are that can be fed back, which all leads to greater understanding, greater cooperation, more harmonious working relationships, greater productivity, and better long-term prospects. Now, partnership agreements ensure that the organisation and employees work as a team to achieve a shared goal and vision. So the partnership agreement is really forming a team between the management and the workers and the employees. They're forming a team which is going to engage in competition in the marketplace with other companies. It's going to try and attract the attention of customers. It's going to try to improve the quality and the reputation of the business, and it has wider responsibility. It recognises its responsibilities to all its stakeholders. So it works as a team to achieve shared goals and visions. It also shares culture and values, and everyone works towards a common goal. The culture of the organisation in terms of the way people are treated and the way they work, the respect that they're shown, and the way the organisation is structured, and the values of the organisation moves away from just making profit and just making a return. It moves towards greater understanding of the workforce, greater cooperation with the workforce, and persuasion of the workforce in terms of productivity initiatives, which of course will feed back into profitability and into the survival of the organisation. But it's a sharing activity that they have agreed amongst themselves. There can be continuous improvement programs to share learning and best practice. These can be set up within the organisation, and it could be promoted within the partnership agreement. It could be that the management enable the workers to have some time to improve their understanding of the market, the complications of the market, the training for using particular technologies and machines, and but also developing interpersonal skills and understanding in a sense, the community that is the organisation, because the organisation is like a community, and people spend their lives, quite a large part of their life, within that community, within the company, working, and the link to each other, and the link must also be familiar with the requirements of the technology and of the disciplines that the market bring to bear on the organisation. So there's having continuous involvement programs, continuously updating all the people who have an interest in the partnership agreement, updating them and providing perhaps small training programs, disseminating information about whatever issues are relevant at the time, all designed to have greater involvement and greater recognition of the role of everyone within the organisation in meeting the organisation's goals. There should be effective communication channels. Whatever these are, it could be notice boards, it could be briefing meetings, it could be a works council, it could be the trade unions who will facilitate the feedback of information. It can be on all sorts of fronts. It could be an intranet. It depends on the type of work situation we're discussing. It could be entirely an office-based business, in which case intranet may be the most effective way of communicating. But there's also the case to be made that most people see communications as the best type of communications as face-to-face. So there should be some means by which management can talk to employees directly, face-to-face, answer questions and get to know the employees and be seen, be visible. There should be shared effort and flexibility. Shared effort, there should be understanding on the part of management as to what is required for the particular tasks and whether it's reasonable to ask someone to do that task continuously, or can new ways be found to complete essentially the same task the same number of times, but perhaps doing it more flexibly, perhaps changing the working around, or working in teams, or bringing in additional technological support. There should be an understanding of what people do, and there should be some sort of sharing of the effort, so that everyone within the organisation feels that they're a part of a larger and understanding team, that they have support. So these are ideas about partnership agreements. They're becoming more widely spoken about, and there's more attempts to implement this type of agreement. There are considerable benefits to be reaped from having good working relationships of the type we've just discussed here. So that seems to be the prime mover. That seems to be what it is that gets the ball rolling and gets this discussed, and it can form the basis of partnership agreements. There are some issues that we haven't really dealt with. There's a fall in trade union membership, and trade unions are not seen as popular perhaps as the past. So the way in which these partnership agreements can be implemented in the absence of a trade union may involve some sort of organisation of the workforce, perhaps into a works council, as I suggested earlier, and perhaps feeding that back. Or it could be in asking members, employees, to elect certain members to attend briefing meetings, say once a week, and feed that back to their colleagues. But these are issues which we can bring up and discuss in other sessions. But for the moment, that's all we're going to do. That's the source that was mentioned earlier on, and let's leave it at that for now and say thank you for watching.